Thank you, everyone, for coming today. It's an extremely exciting day for the launch of the construction of this project, which, to paraphrase a note from the history of this site, Frank Lloyd Wright had once designed a project here to be built here that was designed to make Versailles look like not much at all. That's true. The very short backstory of this site, which we're honored to be in the position to maximize, which no one ever has before, is this land was this area. The post office was called Temple Heights because this large piece of land where the Hilton also is was owned by the Masonic Society, and the Masonic Temple was going to be built here. We had something called the Height. It wasn't called the Height of Buildings Act, which stopped that from being built here. And as everyone knows, it's in Alexandria, and it's much taller than any building that would be allowed to be built in the district. It's passed through many hands since then, and I think now, hopefully, in its most capable. We are honored to have the opportunity to undertake this project, and it really wouldn't be possible without the support, a cast of many. This project maybe took a little longer to start than we thought it would, but great things take time, and that's fine. So there's so many instrumental people in making this project happen, including Mayor Muriel Bowser, Deputy Mayor Albert, the Council Member Nadeau, Council Member Pinto, the DC Green Bank, who is an incredible source for commercial financing for developers. If you need financing in DC, start with the Green Bank. Our private sector, purely private sector financial partners, Nuveen Green Capital and Mavic, both of whom we have had long-term successful business relationships with. Our own team, our lawyers, our architects, the Department of Buildings, my 7th grade teacher, and all the people I left out. Without further ado, I'd like to hand the microphone to my brother, who's going to talk a little bit more about the thing that is going to make Versailles look like not much.
Thank you. So I want to tell you a little bit about what the project is going to be, but to tell you the truth, a lot of everybody here already knows a little bit about what it's going to be because it's not their first time here, and most of the people here were really instrumental. Their hard work was instrumental in getting the project to where it is today, ready to break ground or smash up the walls at least if there's no groundbreaking. And so just want to say, again, thank you. And before I forget also, I just want to say, thank you to the couple of dozen tradesmen that are here today and the couple of thousand that are going to be here over the next couple of years that are going to do the hard work to make this reality. So about the building, I don't know, some of you may have heard this before from me or my brother, but probably the best way to summarize what this building is going to be is it's going to be the greatest apartment building in the history of the world. On the outside, there will be a new, elegant, classically inspired facade by Handel Architects, this is the before. Okay. And it's going to be, we're going to create, a grand dame building that just kind of reeks of sophistication, for lack of a better way to say it. And then, so that's the outside, and on the inside, well, I guess to quote Willy Wonka, the way to say it is, in your wildest dreams, you couldn't really imagine the marvelous surprises that await you inside. And so the project is full of superlatives. You're going to hear others talk about how it's the vanguard of sustainability, exemplar of efficient, affordable housing development, a new blueprint in financing innovation, and it's huge too. And so you'll hear all about that. But one thing that maybe hasn't been highlighted as much, just as it relates to the size, and something we're proud of because it's hard to do, is over half of this building is going to be family-sized 2-bedroom and larger apartments, and that's something that's not typical in apartment development. And frankly, it couldn't have happened anywhere else but here in this city, in this neighborhood, and not just because Washington is uniquely desirable and vibrant place to live, but because the leadership of the city has been working hard for years to put in place sensible, effective housing policy, and the leadership of the city, frankly, runs the city in a best-in-class way that allows you to get things done that you just can't get done in other places, in other big cities. And so, Washington's very special for that. This leadership of this administration is very special for that. So, thank you. And with that, I'd like to hand it over to Mayor Bowser.
Thank you. Well, good morning, everybody. I am just happy to be here to help celebrate the best apartment building in the world, in the best city in the world, and the best government in the world. So it's wonderful to be with the Post Brothers, wonderful to be with neighbors and friends. I want to acknowledge my team at DMPED led by Nina Albert. Please give Deputy Mayor Albert a big round of applause. I want to acknowledge the Ward 1 Council member, Brianne Nadeau. Please give Brianne Nadeau a big round of applause. Also, Brandy Collender, who leads our DC Green Bank. Give Brandy a big round of applause. I like when I can come to the future best apartment building in the world and talk about two great programs that helped get us here. One I established in my first term, and that's the DC Green Bank. And even then, this investment is beyond my wildish dream. What it says is that we can be sustainable, we could be forward-looking, and we can meet our housing goals. And the more housing we create, the more affordable housing is in Washington, D.C. We have shown that to be true. I am proud that we are meeting our goals and keeping our promises to build 36,000 new units, 12,000 of which are below market rate. I am proud that our housing in downtown program, which we fought so hard to get established, is doing exactly what we thought it would do. And that is attract more housing units and to make us the #1 jurisdiction in America to convert underutilized buildings to world-class housing. So let's give ourselves a round of applause. But this takes vision, and the Post Brothers helped me be really bullish on conversion. Because when we started this discussion, you know what everybody said? You know what I'm going to say, Nina. It's so hard. Conversions are so hard. It's not enough air. It's not enough light. It's just so hard. We can't do it. And then we started hearing from developers that said, we can do it, we've done it, and we're going to do it in D.C. And then we started talking to our entire community that has been successful at building housing in Washington, and they said, yeah, we can do it, and here are some of the things that the city can do to let us be creative, let us bring in private dollars, and let us build housing for D.C. residents. So the Geneva, as you have heard, is the largest office to residential conversion in D.C. history. 532 new homes, including affordable homes in larger units. And it is taking shape in a prime, high opportunity neighborhood in Washington, D.C. I am also pleased that because of the leadership of developers like the Post Brothers, we are proving that narrative wrong, that while it may be hard, it is possible, and we have a lot of tools to help you get that done. In fact, today, I'm sure Nina will say more, but I am pleased to announce 2 additional projects that have received awards from Housing in Downtown, and that's 2121 Virginia Avenue Northwest in Foggy Bottom and 899 Main Avenue in Southwest at the Wharf. So also, let's give them a round of applause. So we are celebrating today and announcing 2 new awards, which makes this a very good day at DMPED and a very good day in my administration. So with that, I understand I'm introducing Council Member Nadeau. And then we will hear from, have we heard Alex Cooley, Vic Uppel, and Brandy Collender. Council Member?
Good morning, everybody. So glad to be here with you in Ward 1. I want to start by acknowledging some commissioners here from ANC 1A. I see Commissioner Diamond, Wood, and Balicki. I'm sorry if I missed anyone, but if you could just stand up or raise your hands and wave so we can see you. The ANC worked incredibly hard with the team on this project, so I want to acknowledge their hard work on the ground because it is that purest of public service, the unpaid kind. So, and I want to thank the Green Bank, the Post Brothers, and all of the partners for having us today. So, was thinking about this morning, and this project makes for some good trivia questions. Did you know this is the biggest office to residential conversion in DC history? Okay. The mayor knew. And did you know this is the biggest PACE deal for green energy financing in the country's history? And this is for my Ward 2 colleague. Did you know we're actually still in Ward 1? She tried to claim this one, folks. We're not going to let her. No. Good partners, good partners, good partners. This is a great symbol of what we can get done here in DC, and you've heard a lot about it already from prior speakers, but it's an example of adapting to economic changes and innovating in green building practices and financing and getting it done fast, with financing closing in a matter of days instead of months. I was proud to play a very small part in this process, voting in favor of emergency legislation in the council to authorize the PACE award of this size to be issued. And I want to thank Councilmember Charles Allen for shepherding that bill through and his leadership as the committee chair. I also want to note the significance of the green funding in this project from a policy perspective. Normally, a project like this doesn't actually come before the council at all. And oftentimes, builders like that. You know, it's one more hurdle they have to go through if they have to come through us. But when someone accesses this green financing, that means that they do have to interact with us and work with us on these projects. And so the significance of that is that this green financing is important enough to getting housing done in the District of Columbia that it's actually worth it to deal with the DC Council. It's a joke, you can laugh. And more and more we see that. And that was what you led with today in your remarks was the first place you start in DC now is the Green Bank. And we hear that all the time, that every crane now has the Green Bank written on it. So pleased that this program is working so well that we've been able to reach this milestone today with the groundbreaking, and really truly looking forward to every milestone, including the ribbon cutting. And I want to just acknowledge that this is a milestone in how real estate projects can be financed, even in what's a really challenging market. So thank you for doing this work here in DC, in Ward 1, and with green financing to ensure that these are wonderful, safe homes for all the families that move into them. Thank you so much. And with that, the Deputy Mayor.
Well, good morning, everybody. It is wonderful to be here celebrating another milestone in our work to reimagine and deliver a mixed-use downtown. Today's groundbreaking of the Geneva is a symbol of how the district, under Mayor Bowser's leadership, is transforming office space into vibrant mixed-use neighborhoods. The mayor set a bold vision for a downtown that works for residents, businesses, and visitors alike. And through programs like Housing in Downtown, our Office to Anything program, and the capital investments that we're making in downtown, we are delivering on that promise. Since launching Housing in Downtown, or which we affectionately call HID, in March of 2025, so we're just shy of 2 years, we've seen incredible momentum. As the mayor announced earlier, we're conditionally awarded 2 projects through the program. The 2021 Virginia Avenue site is owned by Carr Properties, and they're going to be redeveloping 155,000 square feet into 300 new homes, including 30 affordable units. And then the project at 899 Main Street Southwest, Jair Lynch is going to be delivering another very large office to residential conversion and delivering 511 homes, including 76 affordable units. So the program is working, it's gaining momentum, and we're really excited about it. So today, I know we've done a couple of these announcements. I just kind of want to give the overall view of how the program's working and how the private sector is also, without using incentive, building office to residential conversions. So with these two latest announcements, our total program now that have HID funds in it are 10 projects. This is in less than 2 years. It's a testament to the strength of the program and the mayor's commitment to affordability and downtown revitalization. We also know that in total, there's been private sector investment. So to date, since 2023, we've had 1,900 new homes convert from office, through office to residential conversions. There are an additional 1,800 units currently under construction. And in our pipeline, we have a new 4,200 units. So that brings us over 8,000 new units in downtown that have been office to residential conversions. Residential conversions are just a piece of the puzzle, right? Because there's other opportunities as well. And we've seen office to hotel. And we've affectionately launched last year the Mayor's Office to Anything program. We're continuing to focus that program and see how we can get even more traction, because when we think about the future of downtown, we not only want it to be more livable, but we also need it to be more people-centric. And so we've heard about grocery stores being interested in coming downtown now because they're seeing that uplift and that demand from new residences. So while 2025 was a tough year in many different ways, we also saw so much positive change. There are more than 30 new retailers and restaurants that opened downtown, and another 30 have announced plans to open soon. That includes a new restaurant at the L, which was one of our first office to residential announcements in Golden Triangle. And this is proof that once residents come, other uses will follow. So together, these efforts, driven by Mayor Bowser's vision and investments, are creating a downtown that is more resilient, more vibrant, and more welcoming for others. So I want to call out two people who are very instrumental out of our office, and their work has led us to today and to continuing in the future. Leah Riley, who's our Director of Downtown Innovation, and our newest DEMPED staff member, Kyle Reeder, who is heading up the housing in downtown and office to anything programs. So also welcome Kyle to the team. But today is really about this project, and I want to thank our partners, our developers, and our community members for making this vision a reality. And with that, I would love to introduce to the stage an important leader in today's project, Brandy Collender, CEO of the DC Green Bank.
Thank you, Nina. Thank you, Mayor Bowser. It is really a gift and a pleasure to look out and see how many people came up to celebrate today. And I'm going to sort of go back to a proverbial, it takes a village to help punctuate this moment. It takes a village to make things like the vanguard of sustainability, the Geneva project, to come to fruition. And more than just people are needed. What makes big accomplishments like today possible, and you've heard it in previous speakers, this always happens when we're outside, you all. It's partnership. And, one of the things that we believe at the DC Green Bank is that we are partners in making dreams come true. And we fortunately have resources, money, to help facilitate that, as well as an amazing team. At the DC Green Bank, give it a second. We see ourselves as partners in the projects that we finance, whether in this case it's working on legislation designed to allow projects at this scale come to fruition, or taking the time with small churches and small businesses to get the money that they need. The value of partnership is clear here today. And as we stand in front of this building with more than 500 homes and 60 affordable houses on their way, we know what is possible. Behind the scenes, DC Green Bank collaborated with the Post Brothers, Nuveen Capital, to secure the capital to advance this deal. We worked with Councilmember Allen's staff, as Councilmember Nadeau mentioned earlier, to be able to facilitate that. And we have to thank all of our partners across the council for being supportive of something like this happening. The point is, this is success. This is the project working to be able to allow $500 million projects to be able to come to fruition when previously we had a cap. We are demonstrating that DC is wide open for business. A special thanks to a few folks on the team, including Doug and Natrebo, who are in the back, as well as Dan. We have a small but mighty team at the DC Green Bank, and I think they are really instrumental in facilitating relationships to allow us to get to this point. And I also want to just mention that, we've talked about the energy efficiency upgrades, but one of the things that allows us to be, I think, a unique partner here is that we are basically trying to come up with new financial tools and instruments, including CPACE, to allow us to have the ability to get capital deployed. So we are open for business. Come and see us. And next up, we have Vic Paul.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. It's really, really great to be here today and to be supporting this wonderful project, and one that I think really demonstrates a unique partnership between the public sector, the private sector, and really delivering kind of much-needed housing to D.C. We've been longtime partners with the Post Brothers and have a tremendous amount of respect for them. And I think this project, really demonstrates and is really admirable for, just the tenacity that it really takes to be a developer and to bring a project like this alive, and just the number of years and the complexity of working through with a number of different counterparties, and then working with the government, and all the different components that go into making a project like this possible. So we are incredibly excited to be a part of this project. I think this is one that is a very unique project in the sense that, you see a lot of these kind of desire for office to residential conversions, but, very few buildings actually lay out in a way are economically possible in order to be able to do so. And I think this is one of the really unique examples of one that, is really a transformative project, both for the DC, and I think also is a transformative project for what can be possible for these office to residential conversions. So it's really wonderful to be a part of it. We're excited to be working with the Post Brothers, Nuveen, DC Green Bank, and others, and very much looking forward to the project getting underway and for it to be ready and open soon. With that, I'll welcome the mayor back and to take some questions.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll invite Nina and Brandy to join me at the podium for any questions. I should also acknowledge my former colleague, David Catania. Please give David a big round of applause. We used to work together. Okay, any questions? First, press questions. Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. You mentioned, in your remarks that there are a lot of challenges associated with office to residential conversions. People saying there's not enough light or it's really expensive. What to you was key for the city to overcome those challenges?
Let me ask Nina, and I'll ask our development partners to step forward
I think it's really just the specific building. It has to be assessed on a building by building basis. What are floor to ceiling heights? Where are the elevators located? All those kinds of, what are the floor depths? So we have been using the Housing in Downtown program, that when a project is convertible and it needs a little additional assistance, that it's there to provide that. As you heard in some of the numbers that I provided, there are a lot of projects that are converting without public additional public subsidy. So I believe that our developers are being very active in trying to pivot to make sure that their assets are in productive use and that DC's downtown is vibrant. But maybe Matt could share with us a little bit more from the technical perspective.
I think Deputy Mayor Albert really nailed it. It's the depth of the building, the ceiling heights. Washington has this confounded thing that we've been saddled with called the Height of Buildings Act. Very few buildings have tall ceilings in Washington, and in other cities, people may have an expectation that a new apartment building, for instance, a new apartment building in Philadelphia doesn't have a height limit. Of course, this is maybe a much better market. Can't say that. It is. Okay. So, but we're based there. We're from here. We love developing here. So ceiling heights here are not actually a challenge because very few buildings have as tall of ceiling heights as they would at the same property type would in other cities. From a permitting perspective, besides the housing and downtown abatement, the entire infrastructure that exists in place in the technocratic part of the government here is you can get very large projects done very quickly from the approval perspective. Obviously, this had some twists and turns, and I was, to Vic's comment, I think the government, working with the government was maybe the best part of this project, and they were a pleasure to work with. We bought this project, and interest rates went from 0 to 5% in about 6 months. So that kind of, well, maybe it was a curveball, but here we are, they're going down again, and everybody forgot the middle. So it was easy. It was easy. That's all I remember. Just the last month of last year, when flying to closing, it was easy. So I think that it's unique to buildings. What Washington does have in terms of the ability to produce more conversions is a lot of old office buildings and pretty high market rents that support new development of apartments knocked down or converted or office to anything. We need more new hotels here too.
Yes.
Mayor Bowser, you've mentioned wanting to cut tape when it comes to legislation. What kind of legislation would we need to expedite this kind of conversion process to see more buildings and developments like this one?
Well, we're looking at that right now, Raphael. We have, Nina mentioned office housing in downtown. We have another office to anything that we might make some tweaks on in my upcoming budget. And we're going to talk to industry to see what they're seeing and what tools are going to help get them across the finish line. So I'm looking at those types of tweaks now, some of which don't need any law change. It could be changes in our policy or regulations, or some may require change in the law. Yep.
Follow-up. Can we get maybe a status of, the housing? We talk about the housing crisis in DC. How many more units that we need? The status of it starting 2026, what we're looking at? Well,
first of all, we need people to pay their rent. Okay, that's what we need. And we need to rebalance our ecosystem. I could have a real long conversation with you about how we went into COVID and how COVID destabilized the relationship between landlords and tenants, how the quality of our housing has suffered, and how bringing in more money to do projects like this will suffer if we don't get that right. So that's one part of what we need to do. In terms of production, which is what I think you were referring to, having a stable market helps us get back to the levels of production that we were before the pandemic. So we're getting there. We've had some changes in policy, and we're seeing those changes work. And Nina and her team are very focused on working with our capital partners to make sure they know, like everybody here knows, why DC is such a good investment. Okay, thank you, everybody.